Hey, good people. Hey, good people. Hey, good people. Hey, hey, hey. I'm excited. Y'all, it's a whole situation. It's a whole situation tonight. It is a whole situation. And I feel like I'm live in all the right places, but let me just do my homework and check on it. Let me check on it. Let me check on it. Um, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It looks like we are everywhere we need to be. Yes. So I'm going to get started. Hey, good people. Hey, good people. Hey, good people. All right. So most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I am April Kelly, also known as AK in the streets of social media. And today is my first episode ever of the AK show. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't even think I've had a chance to really prepare for this moment. I don't know. Maybe I've prepared leading up to this moment, not even knowing. But in any case, I'm excited about it. I always have a lot to say. I won't say always, but most of the time, I have a lot to say, a lot to share. And I am able to do that through the AK show. So I'm excited to do that. But in any case, most of you know me as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. So hopefully these shows that we do and these conversations that we have will allow you to know me in a different way, on a deeper level, and just really understand my perspective, and also a place where you can share yours. So I'm excited about the April Kelly show, the AK show, and I just look forward to all that is to come from this. So, before we even get started into the conversation and into the topic for tonight, I do want to encourage you to allow, I think you have to do something with your settings to be able to, you can comment, but I won't be able to see who you are, like what your name is when you comment. So, there should be some type of disclaimer in this video caption that you can click on so that I can see your actual comments and see your name when you comment. Okay. So with that, again, I'm AK. And this is the first night, episode 1, showing up for me of the AK show. And listen, oh my goodness, this topic is a juicy topic. It's one that is super familiar to me. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this one first is because I talk to a lot of women, a lot of my friends, a lot of family, and they often deal with some of the same things that we're going to be talking about tonight and that I've dealt with in regards to showing up for yourself and, not burning yourself out, not being overcome with overwhelm, and losing yourself in all of the different roles that you play on a day to day. So, like entrepreneur, some of the ones that I just named out: entrepreneur, um, what else did I say? Mom, wife, friend, sister, cousin, all of those different things, colleagues, you might be a manager, VP, whatever it is that, or whatever it looks like for you. But I think it's so often that we put ourselves on the back burner and we just allow life to just overcome us, honestly, and we lose ourselves in that whirlwind of life, right? And in doing all the things for everybody else. So one of the things that I've set out to do, moving forward, I think I had my little moment a couple of years ago when I was like, yeah, this can't be life. This can't be the way that my life is supposed to be right now. And so I set on a journey of just really figuring out who I am now. And who is April now? What does she need now? What does she like now? All those different things. And so give me 1 second because I'm not really feeling this angle. Let's see if I can sit her up some. So it's been a while that I've been on my journey, and it's been very interesting. Hey everybody. I can't see all of your names, but hello, hello. Post something in the comments so I can see who all is on here and such. All destinations. Let's see. I might even be able to come and do something like this. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that I can see your comments because I do want some dialogue and I do want to hear from you guys, you ladies. But yeah, so my journey started a couple of years ago. And to me, it's an ongoing journey of showing up for yourself and figuring out what you need now as you grow and as you evolve and become a different person. And hey, I can't see who that is. I just see Facebook user, but whoever said, hey babes, hey girl. Y'all listen, first of all, let me just do a quick second. Like the way that I'm gonna show up for myself in just a few days, your girl is gonna get her hair done. Okay, that is what is gonna happen because I had an impulse moment. I was like, I'm gonna take my braids out because they've been in for a while. Because I'm the type that, when I get my braids, I leave them in for a good minute and I get every penny's worth out of my hairstyles. And so now I took it out and now I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hair. I don't want to do anything to my hair. So yeah, that's one way I'm gonna show up for myself in just a few days. Y'all just wait on it. But for tonight, y'all can get this good hair wrap. Okay. But yeah, so back to showing up for yourself. So listen, I was at a state where I felt like I completely lost myself. And when I look back on some of the pictures of that time frame of me really just kind of like leaving myself out high and dry and just focusing on everybody else and doing all the other things, I looked it too. And maybe I didn't have good friends back then, or maybe they were saying it and I didn't understand, or maybe they were just trying to be nice. But when I tell you, I was like, yeah, something wasn't right. And it was visible. You could clearly see that, April probably wasn't showing herself enough attention. And you would have been absolutely right if you saw me back then and you made that assumption. But showing up for me has been a journey. It has been something that I've literally had to kind of baby walk because it felt at some point so unfamiliar. And even sometimes today it still does. Like when I have to make a decision to assert myself in a certain way or set boundaries or kind of undo that conditioning and that learning of teaching people how to teach me, but teaching them the wrong way. So they're doing things that I no longer allow or agree with, and then having to kind of undo that and show them like, okay, this is who I am now. This is what I like, and this is what I appreciate. You know what I mean? This is how I want to be treated. And so showing up for myself in that way and establishing new boundaries and really sharing that with my circle and the people who matter to me. And even if it's not just my innermost circle, but just on a day-to-day basis, legit letting people know like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I'm gonna tolerate. This is what I'm not gonna tolerate. And not necessarily having a conversation in that way, but just the undertone of my conversations and of my interactions with people, it says it for me. It goes without being said, basically. And so it's when I tell you, this is apple juice, by the way. And no, it's not Nola's twisted apple juice because I need to make some fresh one. We drank, oh my God, we drank that all up. But yeah, it's it's a different kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it can feel so wrong, but it's right because maybe you've been doing it the wrong way the entire time and not not advocating for yourself, right? Going with the flow of things and just trying to keep the peace. These are all things that I've done before. And so that's why I can clearly articulate, you know what I mean, from that experience and draw from it because I know all too well how I've really learned over time to I guess, how can I say, quiet my own thoughts and feelings and not even really quiet them, but internalize them and then do what's necessary to keep whatever peace I was trying to keep or to keep from, ruffling anyone's feathers and things like that. So I'm doing a lot of talking, but I want to hear from you guys. I see at least a few of you are on, but tell me some ways that you've shown up for yourself and if it's been easy or if it's been difficult. And in what relationships have you had to do that? Is it, with a parent? Is it with a sibling? Is it with a spouse or a partner or a friend? Or is it with a child? Because that's a whole different kind of situation right there. Oh my God. So if you are new to me, I have 4 kids. I have 4 little ones. The move for Jamaica. I'm gonna tell you something that's really funny. Let me make sure I'm not missing any. Okay, that just went in. But really, just really, I've had to do recently a little bit of all of those in like almost every single relationship that I'm in. I feel like I've had to show up for myself in a way. And then even the relationship with myself, I've had to push myself to not allow April's old ways and old habits to keep her from showing up for her own self. So it's so many different dynamics, so many different levels to this. Is, we can go on and on and on and on this just one topic. This could be a whole series or whole season of its own, just showing up for me, because it's so many different dynamics at play in order to do that, right, as a woman. And so specifically, I'll throw out some examples. Right now, I'm definitely doing it with my kiddos because, like I said, I have 4 babies between the ages of 7 months and 11 years old. And for so long, and I always tell people, I've been a mom, a parent, as long as I've been an adult, because I had my first daughter when I was 18, so young. And my then boyfriend, but now husband, we've always been parents as adults, right? And so our lives even started out like our lives out as we entered into adulthood. It started out, really giving our lives to our kids, or creating a life around our kid and making sure that she's taken care of. And so instead of figuring ourselves out and kind of having that moment, that grace period, I guess, that happens at the moment that you become an adult and you kind of leave home and you start to figure things out, right? We didn't have that. And so we literally started to create a foundation, create a life, create a relationship that was based around our kid. And so for me as a mom, I've been nurturing, I've been raising, teaching, loving kids since I've been an adult. And it happened to be, I won't say the perfect, but coming from like how I was raised and and how I grew up, and then going right into being a parent as soon as I hit adulthood, to me, that was just like, I had already learned a lot about how to internalize and how to kind of like dim my own light, kind of growing up a little. And so just going into that next phase of not showing up for myself and kind of like just being there for creating my life around someone else, that was a setup, and not a good way. And so it took me years to even learn that, okay, this doesn't have to be this way. We can learn to do this. We can, what I mean? We can undo this and we can learn a new way. We can literally create a life that makes us happy. And the only way I feel that you can create a life that makes you happy is if you are doing a little bit of showing up for yourself. If you are making sure that, and not even a little bit, but if you are making sure that you're heard, if you're making sure that you're being seen, if you're making sure that you're being loved and that your needs are being met, right? And that your boundaries are being respected and all of those things, like that's the only way that I can envision a life that makes me happy. That's the only way that I can live a life that really makes me happy. And so y'all mighty quiet in these comments. Like it's legit crickets. But I can't see joy and happiness any other way. Like if I'm not in the equation, if I'm not being considered, my thoughts and feelings and what's important to me aren't being considered and they're not being advocated for or acknowledged, like how does happiness exist in that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that it does. I don't think that that's possible. But who am I? So I really encourage you guys. And sometimes when I say I encourage you to da 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 da, it kind of, I don't really like to start off a sentence that way because it kind of sounds mundane to me. But I really would love for you to just think about what a happy life looks like for you, and tell me if that does not include you showing up for yourself. Because I feel like, I mean, even just saying that this is what makes me happy, this is what makes me not happy, is a form of showing up for yourself. Um, in a way, and that's just my opinion. So let me make sure that I'm not missing any of the comments. Um, so yeah. But with that, like I said, you can't have a happy life without making sure that happy includes you. Um, and then, it also kind of flows right into every other area of your life. So if you are showing up for yourself, if you are acknowledging how you feel and what your needs and wants are, and setting things in place so that those wants and needs are met, then you will be happy, joyful, morale, like, right, good old, and then also able to kind of flourish and thrive, and then be able to let that same thing flow through your family and all other areas of your life, all other relationships, um and so outside of the one you have with yourself. So I just feel like there's so many benefits to it, and it's one of those things where, um don't wait to do it, because when you tap into it and when you start to do it, even if it's uncomfortable in the beginning, you always feel like, God, I should have done this sooner. I should have been saying this. I should have been doing this for myself. I should have been saying no. I should have been doing it, because God knows that's how I've felt a plenty of times as I've been on my own journey of, you know, making sure AK is straight. Okay. So let me see. Um, One thing specifically I'm that you'll learn about me if you're new to me, and if you aren't new to me, hopefully this has come across. I don't see how not. But I definitely love my family. I love my children. Um, I love my husband. I love what we are building together. I love just the thought of what our futures, um, is coming to be, right? And how things are coming into fruition. And when I started to really learn April and take it to another level, and really make sure I was taking care of myself first and foremost, it really did have an effect on my family. It had an effect on even just the feel of the house, right? Because there are times when I've literally opened my eyes in the morning mad, like stressed out, and upset, and I legit had to have a conversation with myself not too long ago and was like, well, what is wrong? What's happening? What's the problem? You know what I mean? And when you are lacking in certain areas, or you're not giving yourself the proper care that you need, or whatever it is, it will show up in different ways, right? It'll show up in different ways. Your body it might show up physically. You're losing weight, you look dull, your hair might start to break off, or whatever the case may be. But it will show up. And so it's so important. It's so important, because I feel like it's the basis of literally the happy life that you want, or the life that you want to create for yourself. It really starts off with you really understanding who you are, what your needs and wants are, and what makes you happy, and what helps you to operate on your highest level. So I was hoping that you guys would talk back to me, but I don't see any comments. So I won't rattle on too much longer. But I do hope that for whoever has jumped on, jumped off, or come on during this live, that you are able to start to identify some of the areas in your life that you might can speak up for yourself a little more. Um, I was talking to a friend today, actually, and I was telling her how our childhood always rears its head in our adult life. And so the things that you've dealt with, or just the way that your childhood played out, whether good or bad, it will show itself and play out in your adult life. And so if you are used to, or if you were taught not to speak on what your needs and wants are, not to, you weren't taught how to articulate yourself, or you weren't even allowed to stand up for yourself, that will show up in other areas of your life as you journey on through this life. And so for me, again, I definitely had a very interesting upbringing, because it just went from one dynamic to another, and it was, it turned out to be a beautiful thing, right? But because it kind of helped to shape and mold me into who I am, which sounds cliche, but it's the truth. Um, but one dynamic was very strict and very, old fashioned and traditional, in a way where, kids weren't allowed to have a say so. They weren't allowed to really speak in a room full of adults. And to an extent, I respect that and I understand. But it also taught me, like, early on, in some places, my needs and wants, or my ideas, or my voice is not allowed to be heard. You know what I'm saying? And so those messages that we send to our kids, the way that I tweak it for my children in hopes to not send that same message off to them, is to, allow them to know the different dynamics. So yes, not right now might not be a good time for us to have this conversation, but let's have this conversation later. Or right now, this is something that we'll have to talk about when you get a little older, and we can articulate it and have a conversation on a level where you can really understand what I'm trying to say, or but not just like hush because I said so kind of things. I try to limit that. I'm not saying that I'm perfect and I'm just like out here being the, God's gift to earth to my children, which I, in a way I do feel like I am. But ultimately, I want to set the tone for them that speak up for yourself, show up for yourself, acknowledge, your needs and your wants, your emotions, advocate for yourself. If you feel differently than how someone else feels, it's okay to say that. It's okay to speak on it. Or even if you don't speak on it, it's okay to act on it. And I just got distracted about something that's going on in the news right now, but I won't digress into that. But yes, I feel like I'm rambling, but I just want you all to know that listen, I'm pretty sure there's moments that we've all not shown up for ourselves, and as women, we tend to do it the most. Because sometimes I look at my husband, I'm like, golly, like, I'm learning from you. Because when I tell you there are certain things about his schedule that he literally protects with his life, whereas with me, I'm like, well, if the kids have this going on, or if this needs to happen, or if this is going to make the whole situation flow better, I'll, step back, or I'll wait, I'll hold off. I'm not saying he doesn't do that too, but he's a lot better, or he has been in the past a lot better at, setting boundaries and sticking to them. Like, this is what I need for my schedule. This is that's that, right? So I really do hope that you all can look at different areas of your life and see where you can tighten up a little bit, because it pays off. It pays off. Another way that I've shown up for myself is just by making sure I keep my nails done, keep my feet done, because it makes me feel good. It makes me work better. It makes me think more positive. It just makes me go through life with a whole different swag, legit. And I'm not one to have like certain brands and all those kinds of things, but there are certain things that have to be done for me that just makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. And those simple things are my nails, my eyebrows, and I do like shades. I do like to have an earring or a stud in or whatever. I do like to go have my self-care done, is what we're gonna say. That's what we're gonna call it. Okay. So figure out what it is for you. What does showing up for you, for yourself, look like? What does it look like? What are some of the things that you may have to undo? What are some of the conversations that you may have to have? The uncomfortable conversations. What are some of the things that maybe you have to reconsider, rethink? What are some boundaries that you have to assert? You know, And even with yourself. And I would start with myself. I would start with, talking to myself and saying, hey, girl, you know, outside looking in, these are some things that let's work together. Let's work together on this. We're a team. Talking to yourself, we're a team. Let's work together. We want April to live her best life. We want you to thrive, girl. We want you to be walking around walking through these streets like you are God's gift to earth, because you are. Okay. And not in a condescending way, but in a way that just like, hey, that's the fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Point blank and period. Okay. So let's work together on this thing. Like, I have several conversations with myself. I have been using my planner, which is the Modern Mom Fix Planner. Hey, the Modern Mom Fix Whole Life Planner, which is a planner that I created. But part of the reason why I created it was to kind of feed my need to show up for myself, right? And to allow me to have a partner. Because the way that my life is set up, I need help to keep that life as organized as possible. So everybody get where they need to get. I'm getting everything that I need to get. And it's a whole life situation going on, literally. Right. So I do brain dumps a lot. I write down my thoughts more often now. I try to combat negativity anytime I feel negative thoughts like rearing up. I legit start to speak out, like verbally, the direct opposite of what I'm thinking if it's negative. So I go all the way to the positive end of the spectrum, and I pull something from out of there to counteract that negativity that's kind of like boiling up on the inside of me. And so I literally keep track of my day. That's another way that I feel like I show up for myself, or I know that I show up for myself, because it's going to help me to be able to meet the goals that I want to meet, right? It's going to help me to be productive. And as much as we don't like the mundane, boring stuff like writing down a planner and scheduling things and having a to-do list, when I tell you, first of all, let's go ahead and get rid of the bad habits, right? Because if what you're doing right now isn't working and you're constantly doing that same thing over and over, expecting that it's going to give you a different result, you're insane. And I've been insane. And in some ways I still am, because there's some habits that I still am trying to break, honestly, all transparency. But just doing these kinds of things, they are practical life things that don't seem like, oh my God, mind blowing or super awesome or interesting to do, exciting, but they work. They work. Practical steps that will get you results. Okay. And so, like I said, this might not be for you, but just having a planner where you're able to write down your schedule and really see that thing and kind of think through it, right? Think through it, get the clutter out of your brain, being able to dump it in an organized fashion and kind of starting to have more of a firm grip on your life and be a little bit more in control of the things that are happening to you on a daily basis. Yes, there are things that happen that we can't control. It's life, but what we can control, let's control those. And if you're like me, I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I kind of like to be in control of as much as I can, because I trust myself to deliver and to show up for me. So this is what does it for me. This is what does it for me, is having a planner and being able to write that thing out, see that thing. I don't care if it's your app, your Google app, Google Calendar app, something that's going to help you to have a grip of life where you can literally show up for the things that are important and that you are required to do. Right. So I've been talking a lot. I have. I see you in the comments. I can't see the name though, but I see somebody saying, hey babes, I feel that, boo. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So ladies, please, 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 if you didn't get anything else from this live tonight, just do me a favor and think of one thing, just one thing. Just start with one thing. Just start with that conversation with yourself and just establish what your needs and wants are now. At this age, at this stage in life, at this phase, in this season, what are your needs and wants, right? And how can you start to ensure that those needs and wants are met? Right? How can you start to assert yourself in a different way where those needs and wants are met? the boundaries that you need to be set in place, so that some of the things that you don't want and need are starting to find themselves or filter themselves out of your life, so that things that are left are only the things that you want to deal with, even if it may need a little maintenance and a little adjusting. That's okay too. But at the end of the day, you want the things that you want to be a part of your life that left behind, and all the other things kind of filtered out. And it might take some time. It might be a process. Again, it's an ongoing process for me. I don't think that this will ever be something that I can put a stamp on, close a book, and be like, yeah, I'm done. I showed up for me. I don't think that'll happen until my time on this side is up. I need some adjustments done. I feel you. I feel you. Um, we all probably could use a few adjustments, especially if we haven't had any in a while. We probably all could use some adjustments, and that is completely okay. So again, think of your one or two things, or think of just a starting point. Where do you want to start with your journey of showing up for yourself and figuring things out for you and creating that life that's legit going to make you happy? Showing up for yourself and figuring things out for you. I wonder if y'all heard that. Did y'all hear Facebook talking back to me? Somebody say yes. So yeah. Any other comments? Any other comments? Do y'all have any questions? Not that this is class or anything, but however I can help you, I want to do that. So if y'all have some questions, drop them in the comments. Meanwhile, this is the AK show. This is episode 1, showing up for me. I'm so excited about it because at the end of the day, like I told you guys before, I have 4 kids, and the way that my evening was set up, there were several reasons why this couldn't or shouldn't have happened. Me going live tonight, but I showed up for me, and I came on up here in my rap, and I still had a good conversation with you guys that I feel good about. And I feel good at the end of the day that I did what I said I was going to do. Wasn't perfect, but I showed up. No questions, but I'm definitely getting me a planner. I need it. Who is that? Drop your name in the comments. I can't see your name. It just says Facebook user. Happy to get a planner over to you. And yeah, we listen. The most of us, the vast majority of us could use a planner, and we need it. Hey, boo. Hey, Ashley. But yes, I definitely have several planners that I'm gonna be posting about very soon anyway. So yeah, let me know if you want one, or you can just go, just message me, Ashley, if you want one. And I can send you the info. So with that being said, don't lose yourself in your relationships, guys. Don't lose yourself in your responsibilities and the roles that you play. If anything, allow you to show up to every one of those places, right? Like allow, and what I mean by that is kind of set the tone with yourself and what your needs and wants are, and assert that in every other area of your life, so everything aligns with what your needs and wants. And yeah, there are times that we have to pivot, we have to be considerate, we got to give grace. That's life, that's love too, when you're in those relationships, and giving grace, and kind of not being so hard on those boundaries and such. But you be the judge of that. But right now, for this segment, we're just practicing showing up for us and making sure that at the end of the day, we're taken care of, and we're doing things that are going to help us to thrive and help us to be the best that we can be. You feel me? You feel me now? So with that, I am about to leave you good people alone so that you can enjoy the rest of your evening. Do not forget that every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your girl is going to be right here. We're going to be having different kind of conversations that I feel are necessary and that I can speak to. And every now and then I'll have someone on here, and we'll be talking together and having a conversation together. And I'm excited about it. We have 9 shows that have already been pre-planned, and topics have been selected, and they are juicy. So I will be back here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the next topic. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I can give you guys a quick little teaser of what that's going to be. what next week's topic is going to be. Let's see. Are y'all like me and have like several different tabs open on your computer at any given time and you're just like, ugh, I love a good tab. Everything is a new tab for me. Everything. All right, let me see. Bring up my schedule because your girl has been very organized here lately. Maybe it's the planner. Maybe it's the planner. Oh, shoot, that's the wrong one. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to get it to you. Okay. So this one was, shoot, I'm going to have to just drop it in the Modern Mom Fix group. So if you are a mom that follows me and you have not yet liked that page, go to Modern Mom Fix. Modern Mom Fix and join the private group. It's a safe space for women, for moms, to be able to take off that superwoman cape and legit be there for one another, support each other, rally each other on, and just be our best selves. Just be our very best selves, honestly. So go to Modern Mom Fix, join that. You guys know about Sure, my baby, that is about to launch this summer. With the vegan infant formula. So definitely, if you haven't already, pop over there as well and like that page so you can be notified. And also you can visit the website, www.thesurecompany.com. www. Hold on, let me put it up here for you. thesurecompany.com. You can also sign up for that on that email list to be notified when we drop the formula. It's going to be so awesome. It's going to be so awesome. There it is, thesurecompany.com. But thank you all for joining in. Again, this is the AK Show, back every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see y'all, good people, next week. Good night, y'all.